Welcome to This Week from Blue Mountain Broadcasting. I'm your host, Lynelle Ellis, the president of Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association, and I am so glad that you've tuned in today. Later on in the show, I'm going to be interviewing Elaine Hinshaw, who's been doing consulting work in the visioning and planning area for Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association. And you're going to enjoy hearing from her, I'm sure. And also, I have some station news to share with you, some very exciting station news at the end of the program. Let's start now, though, with our devotional thought. As I mentioned, I'm going to be interviewing Elaine Hinshaw on the program today, and she shared something with our board of directors this week that she actually heard from someone else that is just really amazing and has caused me to spend some time thinking. These important thoughts have to do with the way that Jesus reached people. And here's what she said. When Jesus interacted with people, his model looked like this: belong, believe, behave, and in that order. I asked myself if I could see in this model in Jesus' interactions with the people that he was interacting with in the Gospels. And I wanted to look into some of these stories and see how Jesus dealt with people. And then I've also been thinking about my own dealings with people as I interact with them and if they fit along this model. Belong, believe, behave. Let's look at some of Jesus' exchanges with people in the Gospels. What about Levi Matthew, the tax collector? Jesus saw him working at his tax booth and asked him to become a part of Jesus' group. Let's read the description of what happened from Luke chapter 5. After this, he went out and saw a tax collector named Levi sitting at the tax booth, and he said to him, "Follow me." And he got up, left everything, and followed him. Then Levi gave a great banquet for him in his house, and there was a large crowd of tax collectors and others sitting at the table with them. The Pharisees and their scribes were complaining to his disciples, saying, "Why do you eat and drink with tax collectors and sinners?" Jesus answered, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. I have come to call not the righteous, but sinners to repentance." The very first thing that happens in this story is that Jesus calls Matthew to belong. He invites him to be part of the group, the inner circle of disciples. And Jesus shows that he really means it by dining at Matthew's house, hanging out with him and his friends, something that was just not done at that time. No one wanted to hang out with the hated tax collectors. And we can see that Matthew came to believe in Jesus and all that his kingdom represents. He became a devout believer whose life was transformed. He abandoned the sins of his past and became one of the disciples who recorded the experience of Jesus' life. His life here on earth. He wrote it down so that we could read about it all these centuries later. And he learned to behave as a follower of Christ would. The order of these things is important. Jesus didn't expect Matthew to get himself all cleaned up and out of the company of sinners before he asked him to belong, to follow him, to be a part of the group. And how about the woman caught in adultery? Let's read that story from the book of John. At dawn, he appeared again in the temple courts where all the people gathered around him, and he sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law of Moses commanded us to stone such a woman. Now what do you say?" They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him, but Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let any one of you whom is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Go now and leave your life of sin." Jesus let her know that she belonged to him first. He told her that he did not condemn her. Then he asked her to leave her life of sin. Once she knew that she was loved and forgiven, that she belonged, she could believe and behave. Perhaps one of the best examples is Simon Peter. When he first encountered Jesus, the Savior worked a miracle for him and provided an extraordinary catch of fish after Peter and his partners had experienced a terrible night of catching nothing. When Peter saw what Christ had done, he cried out, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." But Jesus didn't distance himself from Peter. Instead, he called him to follow him and become a fisher of men. I would guess that Peter didn't even understand what Jesus was talking about to become a fisher of men, but he followed. He belonged to the group of disciples. In fact, he was one of the three who were the closest to Jesus. It's evident through the many stories of Peter in the Gospels that he didn't always get what Jesus was trying to do, not at first. He belonged, and he was learning to believe and understand what Jesus' kingdom was all about. And his journey wasn't perfect. He had a very disappointing experience denying his relationship with Jesus at the most critical time. But Jesus knew him. He knew his heart. And Peter, in the end, really did learn to behave like a follower of Christ, and he became one of the strongest allies of Jesus and an emissary of the gospel around the world. We're still reading what he had to say in the 2 books of the New Testament that he wrote to encourage us in our faith. Belong, believe, behave. The order is important. May we use this same model that Jesus used as we interact with others in our community, loving people and inviting them to belong to Jesus first, then inviting them to believe and sharing with them the beautiful character of God, and finally, helping them grow up into mature Christians. Please stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Joining me now is Elaine Hinshaw, consultant for Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association. Elaine, it is great to have you here.
It is so nice to be here. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to be part of this amazing transformation that Blue Mountain Television is going through right now.
And we're thrilled too. Talk to me about what your role has been at Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association.
Well, I have been helping to put all of the tasks that we need to have done into context and perspective. So essentially my job has been to take all of the ideas and all the places we want to be and all the things we want to do and put them into a format that will allow us to create steps to accomplish them. And sometimes that's articulating an idea that's kind of floating out there, and sometimes that's doing things as big as understanding what's coming in the future and helping the organization pivot towards the future rather than being tied completely into the past.
Yes, and you really did start that way with us by helping us see where our strengths are, where our opportunities
Correct.
are, weaknesses, threats, the typical SWOT analysis.
Exactly.
And then looking at where we wanted to go, who we wanted to be. And I'm glad you used the word pivot, because it is a way of making sure that we're really turning toward the vision and mission that we want to have.
Exactly. I mean, we, as Christians, we are focused on the future. We're focused on Jesus coming back. And all of our institutions, all of our organizations need to be focused on that. How do we help people get excited about Jesus' return?
And you led our board of directors through quite a process.
Yeah.
We call it the sticky note experience.
So one of the things that's really important, there is a concept called human-centered design. All human-centered design is it is making sure that every human in the room has a voice and has a buy-in into the goals that eventually happen. And we use sticky notes to help us move those around and prioritize and consolidate and make it all come together for a functioning plan. Mm-hmm. So it's just a process, and it's really an amazing process to help people feel like they have ownership of the process.
It was really great because we saw a lot of ideas that came out, and we saw them. You helped us get those organized, helped us see what our top priorities were out of everything that we were thinking we should do and where we should go.
Yep.
And now you've put that into a wonderful document that we all have.
Right.
And we can now begin to move step by step. It is like a map.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
One of the things that came out of that was that I found really kind of interesting was that there were just a lot of people in the room who wanted Blue Mountain Television to be a part of helping people understand who God is.
Exactly.
Like his character, how he loves people, what he's like.
And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help reflect and reveal the character of God through the world around us, which is what we came up with for our mission.
Yes.
That's our mission, and that's what we want to do here at Blue Mountain Television. The other thing that I think is really important about this process is that it's very easy for us to just want to serve God. But everybody has a little role in serving God. And our question for ourselves was, how can we do that best? How can we best serve God in sharing his love with other people and building a community of people who love him too? Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, consulting for Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association is certainly not your full-time job. And
no.
I think since we're getting to know you a little bit here on this program, I would love to know what it is you really do, you know.
Well,
full-time.
I work as a writer for Quiet Hour Ministries. Mm-hmm. And what I do there is I tell stories, which is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I love to go out and meet people. I love to talk to people. I love to hear the stories of what God has done in people's lives and share those. So that's what my role focuses on. And oftentimes it uses the same kind of skills. Quiet Hour Ministries is a ministry that's been around for a long time, and today we mostly have mission trips. And so I get to tell the stories of those missions and what's accomplished, and help tell the story of the people in different parts of the world, and I love that.
Mm-hmm. And before we were all kind of ordered to stay home.
Yes.
You got to do some traveling?
Yeah, last year I went to Indonesia, loved it, had a great time. Wonderful people. I learned a lot about their culture and how they do missions, and we're just there to assist them. We don't come in with our view of mission, but we come in to serve them and say, what do you need us to do? And I love that because they're the drivers and we're the helpers.
That's really great. I can tell that you love the work that you do.
I do love the work that I do. And I have, my husband teases me because I don't know if anyone's ever seen Marie Kondo, but she's an organizer of physical things. And one of her catchphrases is, I love a mess. And one of the things about the skills I have and what I like to bring to organizations is I love a mess, and getting it to a place where it's tidy, we know what we're doing next, and we're able to move forward.
And that's why you loved us here at Blue Mountain Broadcasting so much.
It was so much fun. There's so much energy here, and I really enjoyed the process.
That's true. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of good energy. We
Absolutely.
have some key people who are volunteering and on the board that are just, I mean, they're giving their life for this, really.
Yes, they really are.
So excited about what we're doing.
I have a feeling that we're going to get more people and lots of people who will come and help this project.
I think so too. And we do have some challenges. I think it would be good for us to talk about that a little bit, because people who are watching this could be the answer to some of our challenges.
Absolutely. There are several challenges, and one of them is that with any organization of our size, when we pivot, we need new skills, right? So the best way to do this is if you have a skill that you think would really help us tell stories and tell stories in the community. If your friends or your business or your church is doing something exciting, if you have been to an exciting place, come talk to us. Let us know what you love to do, what gets you excited, and let's see if we can make a match between what you love and where this ministry is going.
That's very good, because we're going to need a lot of partners.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's about the enthusiasm and working together that makes it so much fun. Mm-hmm. To see potential and to see where God can lead us, whether we believe we can or not, is really great. It's fun.
Yes, so we're going to certainly be looking for more volunteers in a number of areas. We're also going to be looking for some new employees eventually, as we see funds come in for that.
And some of those areas are, we would like to have the opportunity to do more location work.
Yes.
And to be able to go out in our community and share the wonderful, we live in such a great place. I mean, the Walla Walla Valley is so rich. There's wonderful people here who have incredible businesses. I think of a little spot downtown, my grandmother's kitchen, where I go for Mexican food from time to time, and it's just, I just sit there and think, this is an amazing community to have these little places we can go. Then we have large things like our universities and some of those kinds of places where incredible pursuits happen, and people who are really wanting to give back attend and work. So there's just a lot of really neat stuff going on.
And
it's
I do
such
think
a broad range.
As we sort of, as we think about the direction that we're going as the organization is pivoting, you keep talking about community, and even with this show, we've been trying to bring in as many people from our community as we can. And that's the direction we're trying to turn. We want to know those stories, hear those stories, connect together.
Exactly. And we want people to not be shy about calling us and telling us, we have a story to tell. There's so many special people, and it's so, you don't want to brag, but brag on somebody else.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Say, I went to this place and I really think they need to be talked to and covered, and I think they need to,
somebody
community
should know
knows.
About it. Yes.
Yeah, right, exactly. Somebody needs to know.
Yeah, really exciting. Now, what about the new facility that everybody knows we bought a building? How does that fit into our plan for the future?
First of all, it will bring all of the parts of Blue Mountain Television under one roof. For a long time, we've functioned in several different locations, and to bring it all there means that it will be more accessible for people to stop by and see what we do. Bring your children to see what it's like at a television station.
Absolutely. I brought my children today to this show.
Perfect. My children actually went into this. So.
Yeah, your children majored in this field.
Exactly. So we're kind of media nerds, but
we are. It's all right.
Yeah, but bring your kids in. Come by and see what we have happening. Talk to us about ideas you have. What do you want to see? We really want to know, how can we serve you? What would be interesting to you? And email us if you can. But we will have everything there. We'll have the studios there, all of the technical equipment there. We will have offices and meeting rooms, facilities to bring people in and have events. We're so excited about that building.
Yes.
And it has great parking too.
It does. There's plenty of parking for everyone who will need to come.
Yep,
I guess maybe someday we'll say, how is it possible we outgrew this parking lot?
Yes, exactly. And I'm hoping that eventually we can have some outdoor studios, some areas that we can, once again,
work outdoors. It's a large property.
It is a very large property. It has so much potential, and we're just starting.
And in my mind, I have this vision that there's a room where there are several editing sort of workstations, and there are a number of young thinking people in there brainstorming off each other with the guidance of the Holy Spirit and working on fantastic projects where that energy is just flowing.
Absolutely. We want to do more production, and that is where we're headed.
Very good. Elaine, we have been so grateful for the work that you've done for us and with us. And thank you for being here today.
And I just thank God that we are here today. And I'm excited to see where he's going to take us next.
Me too. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. I'll be right back with Station News. Welcome back. It's time now for Station News, and this is the part of the program I have been waiting for because we have great news to share with you. the tower for our new facility has gone up. And Daniel Biggs was there with his camera and got some great footage and an interview with Jim Forsyth. And we're going to share that with you right now because there's nothing like seeing it for yourself.
Oh, this is a real thrill for me on August 5, 2020, when we're going to be able to see the tower for our new station to be able to be erected, going up vertical. It's been assembled on the ground in two parts, a 40-foot section for the lower part, and then the top 60-foot section will be added on with a crane too. And it's a real thrill. I look forward to this time seeing a tower come, because symbolically it means we're making significant progress upward. And I think that it's a hallmark event that we're going to be seeing today. So as we see some of the erection of that take place, it's going to be a real thrill for me and everybody else who's watching too, I hope.
I hope you enjoyed seeing that tower go up as much as I did. Just a great step forward with our work at the new facility. And I would encourage you to be a part of what we're doing there. The energy is building for this project and you can be a part of it. Of course, your prayers are really, really important. Volunteer help that you may want to contribute, and probably very important as well would be your financial donations. So please continue to send in gifts that support the new facility as we move forward with this project. I want to thank you for tuning in today, watching the This Week Show. I will see you next time.